Hi, welcome everybody to today's wedding edit ceremony. And today we're going to be talking to Charlotte, who is the founder of floral design studio Wildwood, London. Her work is at the forefront of seasonal floral artistry and has been seen in Vogue, Tatler, and Bryce, to name a few. We'll be talking all things career and also obviously talking about wedding floristry. So if anyone has any questions, please do make sure that you pop them in the comments below and we'll do our best to answer those questions. And also we're going to be lucky enough to watch Charlotte do one of her amazing pieces as a demonstration. So I'm just going to go on ahead and invite Charlotte in. I can see that she's there. She'll be with me in a minute, hopefully. Just waiting for Charlotte to join.
Hello.
Charlotte, hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, really good. It seems the sun's always shining at the moment when we do these Insta Lives. It always helps to have the sun in the window.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Gorgeous weather.
I
So
know.
you've been all right?
Yeah, no, all good, all good. Just trying to make myself a bit louder.
Yeah, no, perfect. So yeah, welcome to our Insta Lives of the Wedding Edit. I'm really pleased that you joined us. Thank you so much.
No, anytime. Yeah, love it.
It's all right. So I've shared a little bit about Wildwood and your stunning floral artistry. I haven't actually mentioned that we worked together at the early part of this year with a collaboration with Brown's Brides.
Yeah.
And you made some amazing creations that were dotted around the store and also in the windows. And our absolute favourite was the hanging floral cloud of dried flowers that you managed to weave French lace and neon lights and everything that ceremony had visioned, and it was just the most beautiful piece of work amongst everything else that you did around the store. So yes, we've worked with you firsthand.
Yeah, I loved it. It was a real collaborative piece, having the lace, bringing in the bridal sort of element, and it was different to work with different materials.
Yeah, no, it's nice, and obviously working with you and trying to kind of pick up on our vibe, your talents, and be able to come together. It was just a magical experience for us all, and I know Browns obviously were happy with it as well. So yes, the story goes on. We'll no doubt do some more things like that together in the near future.
Definitely.
So what I thought we might do is just ask you some questions first about how your career started, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about your background just prior to being obviously a florist.
Yeah, well, basically, I did a art foundation course at London College Fashion.
Yes.
Then I moved to Bristol and studied women's wear, and then I worked at Burberry for a year, and then I worked at All Saints for about 4 years in the women's wear design team, which was like an amazing experience. The traveling, the research, and I definitely say that does inform my sort of process now. I am a real collaborator, so. Yeah, no, it's been a good journey, and then it's been about 5 years now with Wildwood. So,
I was going to ask you that question. So 5 years with Wildwood.
5 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah, 5 years. I don't know where the time's gone.
No. Well, obviously having lots of fun. But just going back to your fashion, obviously connection. Both Nicole and myself have obviously got fashion backgrounds, and we're currently still working fashion, and it definitely, like you say, does inform your creativity and kind of gives you that extra thought process of how to make things fresh and new and not just kind of the norm within the wedding industry as well. So I think it sounds like that for you is also the case. Yeah. So I guess, how did your love of florals begin? Can you take us on that journey?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I've always loved flowers, and my mum paints beautiful watercolors, so I've always kind of been quite inspired. And I used to live near Columbia Road Flower Market, so most Sundays we'd go on a little pilgrimage down to the flower market, talk to all the tradesmen, and it was just I just started more and more thinking, maybe this is something I want to explore. I want to stay within the creative realm.
Yeah.
But I just thought, it was kind of I wanted to do my own business. My sister's got her own business, my dad's got his own business, and I thought, well, let's give this a go. What's the worst that can happen?
An entrepreneurial family, love that.
Yeah, no, it's great because it means that you've got somebody to talk to who kind of understands what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah. So where did you train?
I trained at a college in Enfield for a little bit, and then I moved to McQueen's and did their 4-week career course, which was
Wow.
really, yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Like the teachers are amazing. Felt like I really sort of, they used beautiful flowers and really kind of refined and gave you sort of like a, trying to work out where your taste level is and what flowers you love, what flowers you
Yeah.
don't love. And that really helps inform the florist you're going to be. Because yeah, no, it was awesome. Yeah, really good.
The
But I had the
ultimate.
City Guilds course first, and then the McQueen's. But I think there's
Sure.
lots of ways. I mean, you can be self-taught, you can work in a shop. Like I think there's a real variety of ways to sort of get onto the path of being a florist.
Yeah, sure. I mean, working with McQueen's though must have been quite an amazing start point for you, and definitely an inspirational one with all of the amazing people that have been there as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Very
No,
good.
I mean, it's so busy. There's the shop, then there's all the event side, and I sort of helped on the event side. And
Wow.
yeah, you just get immersed in a lot of different things. It's so fast paced as well.
Fantastic. So you said Wildwood has been going for 5 years. Is it something that has kind of built up? You know, did you hit the ground running? How for you? You know, did you just start with particular events or weddings? You know, what for you has been that journey?
Yeah, well, I think I basically, when I finished working in fashion, I just started talking to as many people as possible that I knew had links to the floral industry, so wholesalers, florists, and just kind of what was a bit of a sponge trying to absorb everything, like the pitfalls, the positives. And then I had an opportunity to do a friend's wedding, and I just thought, well, now's the time, let's just do this. And she was like, well, of course I'm going to pay you. So I was like, okay, well, I feel like this business is going to
Win-win.
start. Yeah, and then I had a PR company be like, can you use flowers for our showroom? And then can you do
Oh,
my
great.
wedding? And it just sort of, I had a couple of really lovely girls at McQueen's that also freelance, and they were like, we'll help you. And you kind of, you just have to ask for support when you need it and just keep
Absolutely.
going. And you're never totally ready for anything. So you just
No,
have
but
to like dive in.
it's nice when these things evolve though as well organically. It always feels like it's meant to be, and obviously it's something that you know you're more than able to do and you're talented, and you know, but when it just evolves slowly as well at that pace, it's quite rewarding like that, isn't it? Rather than just suddenly arrive and go, where are you all? It kind of,
Yeah.
you know, it's nice that it built up for you from who you know and people you met, and you know they know your talent. So yeah, it's an amazing journey.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is about relationship building,
Yeah.
getting to know your clients and what they love, what they don't
Yes.
love,
Yeah.
and that really informs how the day plans out, especially when working with brides.
So what is your floristry style? Could you describe it?
I would say that it is seasonal. I only really want to work with seasonal flowers. I want to use more English flowers as well. I'd say it's wild, but still luxuriously put together. It's still got that luxurious element, but it's not too preened and
No.
stiff. So yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, that would probably be the Wildwood style.
And what about inspiration? Do you seek inspiration from specific places or how?
Yeah, I mean, I love film. I'm obsessed with films. Obviously, I have a lot of time to watch films at the moment. I
Yeah.
love books. I love the Garden Museum. I think is one of the best resources. I've seen beautiful installations there. I love fashion exhibitions again.
Yeah.
Fabric. I've worked with interior designers and see all the fabrics that they bring. I think it's sort of a fusion of mixing loads of different elements together and not just going
Yeah.
to one source. I mean, I probably wouldn't go to Pinterest for inspiration because it's quite saturated, but it's great as another resource.
It's true.
But it's just, I think it's just not going down one route and really being open to the things that you see.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And I think with that fashion background as well, you kind of used to like looking in all those kind of unexpected places as well, you know, and it's you never switch off, do you? There's always
No.
something that no matter what, it could be a stain on some concrete on the street or whatever it is, it just sparks, it sparks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
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 anything.
yeah.
You just walk past a chair and you think, oh wow, that looks incredible, and then
Yeah, definitely. So I know you've obviously created amazing florals for so many different types of events, not just weddings. Are you able to talk about any of those events that you know have been particularly you know exciting for you, inspirational places, venues? You know, can you
yeah,
give us a little bit of an insight into
yeah,
any of those events?
Yeah, well, I did a really beautiful event. It was a press event at Charleston House last summer for Chinty and Parker, the knitwear brand, and we had to put a large floral cloud again, but it was 4 meters high, so it was quite
Oh,
an interesting thing to get it in
wow.
place. It was perfect, and then I ended up staying for the lunch and hoping it was still going to be there. But Charleston House, home of the Bloomsbury set, like there was so much history. The gardens were beautiful. It was
Gorgeous.
just quite a dream job really to work on, and the colours sort of infused in the collection. So yeah, that was one of my highlights of last year. And also working at Claridge's, iconic venue, and
Iconic.
Bride was a dream. And literally, we had a couple of conversations, and she was like, "Off you go." So yeah,
Perfect client.
fine.
Oh, okay. And then also, I guess it's, your favorite kind of types of creations. Do you enjoy doing floral arches, bouquets? Do you have like a favorite thing, or is
I
it really
do.
across the board? Do you? I
Sure,
wasn't sure if
you're
that
not
was a
meant
bit of
to
a
have
random question.
favourites, but I love a floral arch. We created one at Holland Park, the Orangery in Holland Park, and literally with the views of the garden, it kind of sort of blended together using like garden roses, and the scent was incredible. I love doing the clouds,
Yes.
massively into the clouds. That's my new favourite at the moment. And then just bridal bouquets, because especially if you've got like a certain ribbon that means something, or it's part of the dress, or a
Yeah.
locket with a loved one in there, it is such an important part of the day. So I adore making bridal bouquets as well.
Yeah, no two are the same.
No.
Can we talk about then, obviously, weddings in terms of how you work with a client? What's a Wildwood client? What can they expect for that journey?
So first of all, the more detail that we have, the better it is.
Yeah,
I literally do want to know everything. I want to know like what are your favorite flowers, obviously. What are your favorite colours? What is the venue? Because certain things aren't going to work. Like I don't have like a cookie cutter approach to everyone. The venue is so important to what is going to inform the flowers. And are you moving quickly? Are you going to spend time in each venue? Where do you want to put the budget? Like when people sometimes will email me saying, I want a flower quote, I'm like, yeah, let's hop on a call. Let's talk about it. Let's find out more. Like,
yes,
and restrictions. And it's just building a real picture of their day and what is important to them. And then it being a real collaborative process. So from the initial call, if I've not been to the venue before, we'll go to the venue together. We'll walk around. I'll take the measurements. I'll get to know the venue, and then I'll produce a floral document. So there are no surprises on the day. You know exactly
yeah,
what you're going to get. And if there's something that we can't quite get in the season, I will tell you. I'm not going to have surprises and be like, oh my god, my favourite flower's not there. Yeah, it's just kind of really sort of letting people go on a journey, and hopefully let's have fun with it. Like let's enjoy
absolutely.
it. Let's go
Yeah,
to the flower market together. Let's pick out different flowers, and it's nothing set in stone. We can go back and forth, and then I just want it to be the best for each bride and groom.
yeah. So it's very tailor-made in that respect, isn't it? And like you say, it's quite personal, even
Yeah,
just down to the tone of the flower. Obviously you're not going to get them all to match, let's just say
no,
that,
yeah.
but
I'd love to.
it matters, and especially if your attention to detail is at the forefront of your mind as a bride and groom, or couple. It's it's something that definitely Wildwood customers would no doubt expect, and you definitely deliver. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
things like sort of ribbon, like hand dyed silk ribbons from like Lancaster and Cornish or Kate and Cullen, like the
Gorgeous.
details just sort
Yeah,
of really help.
gorgeous, gorgeous. I guess I should say at this point, actually, we're getting a few questions, I think. So just inviting those in now, and we can sort of scan through and answer those as we go along. But yeah, definitely. So in terms of booking, how soon should you book?
I think because
How's
of
it?
obviously what's happening at the moment with COVID-19, normally people would book maybe 6 to 12 months in
Yeah,
advance, probably 12 months if it's quite a big wedding, just because once they've secured their venue, then they'll probably look to book the florist and all the other suppliers. But now we're getting quite a lot of inquiries for 2021, and people that might have been getting married in 2020 are moving to 2021 or the end of this year.
right.
So those dates have decreased. So I definitely, once you've done your research, you find suppliers that you love, get in contact with them now, definitely, and then it just sort of takes the stress out of just knowing you've got certain things booked.
Yeah, definitely. And Is there other considerations that they need to be thinking of in terms of climate and things like that as well? Because obviously seasonal is great, but in terms of the venue and lighting and things like that, do you need to ask much more detailed questions on that?
Yeah, definitely. Like I always inquire about lighting because quite often I might be putting up like a foliage hoop and I'm going to need somebody to help me put that up. So, and also in terms of lighting and pictures, am I going to bring my own photographer to take pictures, or and I'm going to liaise with their photographer? It's so many questions need to be asked. And sometimes at first brides can be a bit overwhelmed with the amount of information.
Yeah.
But it's just purely to make sure that the day runs so smoothly.
Yeah.
And you've kind of covered all bases. You've got all the numbers you need. You've got all the drop-offs you need. And then you can just relax and enjoy it.
Sounds gorgeous. So do you think at this point would be a nice time to start the demo? We could
Yes.
We could invite everyone into your space, your studio, and have a little look at how you create. Yeah, just maybe you could explain what we're about to see, and we can kind of peer on in and
sure. So I'll probably push you guys a little bit further back so you can actually see in a minute, but I'm going to do a small dried vase arrangement, and it's completely foam free. So got the vase here, and we've got some chicken wire in there and a frog, and that kind of holds the stems and means that they're not going to move anywhere, and also no foam, so it's sustainable.
Yay.
Which is, yeah, definitely. So I've got, let me push you back a little bit further. Tell me if you can't see.
All good so far.
Might have to push you back a bit further. Right, just move you a bit further.
So we've got someone asking, what is a frog?
Frog. Okay.
Apart from the obvious.
Typical floral terms, I don't explain them. So
I was thinking
it's like a bit of a pin cushion, and it just literally, I would take it out, but it's kind of wedged in with the chicken wire. It's got loads of little sort of pins, and then that holds the stems. So it's a really great, really good tool to have in loads of different vases and ways. It just really holds the stems, and then you can put water in. If you're using fresh flowers, you put your water in, and everything's nice and secure. And it's kind of a different alternative to using foam. So yeah, got the frog. So first of all, I'm going to start off using some preserved eucalyptus.
One of my favourites.
Gorgeous. Yeah, love eucalyptus. So I'm just going to start to sort of thread it in. Now hopefully it will take some shape.
I like the vase.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a bit of a vase addict actually. I have to stop myself ordering more and more vases.
You can never have enough. Where's that one from?
This one, I think I got this in when I was in Amsterdam going to the flower market there.
Oh, nice.
Yes, they have so many gorgeous items. So let me just put this down. And then we've got another sort of dyed eucalyptus, preserved one. So this won't change. These have been specifically sort of dried out or like preserved, so they won't like lose their luster at all.
Okay, so when you say dried, dyed, did you say dyed?
Yeah, some of them are dyed and some of them are dried, but most I use a mixture of dried and a couple of dyed, but like in quite nice natural colours. I'm not really into like neon pink.
No, keep
dyed colours.
Yeah,
but some people are. And then we've got some, and it's quite interesting when things are dried, like the delphiniums become tiny.
Oh,
and we've got some, like really tiny. And then we've got some dried amaranthus, which is normally like 7 times the size, but it's gorgeous.
You use that in the cloud display at Brown's Bride as well. Yeah. Everybody was asking, what's that particular one? It's gorgeous. So pretty.
Thank you. So just start to build it up.
Are you doing a lot of dried flower arrangements for clients as well?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking I'm going to order some more to do a small selection on my website of all different and different colours as well, different vases. Yes. So that is definitely in the works, which I probably wouldn't have got round to if it hadn't been for lockdown.
Well, there's a lot of good come out of this, hasn't there?
Definitely.
So far looking gorgeous. Really pretty.
I bought this. I don't know if you can see it. Actually, I'll hold it up. I bought this marble like Lazy
Oh
Susan.
yes, nice.
I could have bought a wooden one, but I was like, I'm in the marble phase at the moment.
I
So
love
I'm just going to
marble.
keep layering this up. And also another thing, we've got great dried roses, and they're just so delicate though. That is one thing about dry flowers; they're so delicate.
So is it easy to dry flowers at home? I mean, I'm hit and miss with them when I do them, but it's always nice to be able to preserve things you've had that, you know, they're sentimental or they're not, but, you know, it takes on a different look, doesn't it, once it's dry?
Definitely. With like, I've actually dried like hydrangeas before and roses and like hung them, like taken all the water off and then hung them upside down with a bit of ribbon and then just left them to dry. And that does dry them really beautifully. I think when they've been professionally dried, they're just a little bit stronger.
Right.
And you can get a variety of different like colours and you can kind of get them a bit more en masse. Like I don't think I'd remember to dry everything after I've used it. So I'll just spin this around for you guys so you can just start to see. It's quite wild.
It's nice.
Colours. So I'll just keep building it up and any new materials I'll just introduce to you. We've also got, I love this, it's very delicate, is like a pink peppercorn.
Oh, gorgeous.
Really, really, oh, it smells, yeah, love it. So
and are these things quite easy to get hold of, or do you have to really go through a florist to try and buy the dried flowers?
Yeah, I mean, you can get them from, obviously the flower market is closed at the moment, but you can get them from Porters and GB and Lavenders. They have a really good selection of dry flowers. And then online you can use Atlas. I don't think that's just for florists at the moment.
No.
So, yeah, there's definitely, and I think they used to have a minimum spend, but I think online it might be less. So then you can kind of have a play around with a few different items and see what you like.
Gorgeous. It's definitely a big trend though, isn't it? It's become quite popular. It still feels different enough. It's not mainstream, but actually the colour levels are so beautiful when they become that little bit more muted.
Yeah, definitely. I'm quite into sort of muted colours and always have been. Like I like muted interiors. I love like sepia photography. So that's kind of, yeah.
And with dyed silks and ribbons and things in the bouquets, it's always gorgeous to have that addition, isn't it? It just brings all those colours together.
Definitely, yeah.
It's looking good now. It's very beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, really taking shape.
And sometimes in terms of the lines, you might want to have something a bit more sort of asymmetric.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sort of noticing the negative space as well.
Okay.
Where you don't put things is almost as important as where you do put things.
Yeah, the less is more approach. It's always looking back at it, isn't it? I guess you could just go away and leave it and then keep looking and tweaking.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll just keep going.
Gorgeous.
A few more roses. I just love
them.
these.
Looks good.
And they come in so many different colours.
So nice. Perhaps you can hold it up for the camera in a second and give us a little twirl. Yeah, beautiful. Really, really gorgeous. Yeah.
And this is the sort of thing that you can, you know, like preserve if you just had foliage and you do like a taller arrangement. Because it's preserved, it's not going to die. Yeah. It's going to last. So you might need to have a little bit of the dust every now and again. But it's a really sustainable way of having floristry in your home.
Absolutely. And I guess if you've got a floral, you know, for your wedding, you've got some dried flower floral arrangements, it's something you can always keep. How about when it comes to more fresh flowers, what would you recommend in terms of that memory? Because they don't necessarily, you know, you can't dry them straight away, can you? You know, often it's days later. So is there a way that you can have that memory of, you know, your florals when they've been fresh? What would you suggest?
Yeah, I mean, I really love, there's a lady I recently wrote a blog post on called Charlotte Arguliru illustration, and she does the most beautiful wedding illustrations that are incredible. So I would love one of those framed. I think it's the ultimate wedding gift that somebody
how gorgeous.
friends to put together.
That's a gorgeous thing to do, actually. Something different, isn't it? Because they don't always preserve well when you've kept them for days and days later. I know mine looked a little bit sorry afterwards, and it was too late to be able to, especially if you've been, you know, abroad, and you know, by the time you brought it back. So yeah, a floral bouquet that's been illustrated sounds really original.
Yeah, that honestly incredible and looks stunning. And you can have it framed and have it in your kitchen or bedroom, or like if you've got a dressing room.
Great.
Such a lovely
idea. Good tip. Very good tip. So obviously at the minute we've got quite a lot of people having to postpone from one season to another. Have you had to do that with clients where obviously you've discussed their flower needs and then you've had to, you know, start rediscussing, you know, what's available in out of season? So as they've had a winter wedding or a summer wedding and it's switched around, for instance?
Yeah, so I had quite a few weddings at the end of March, have now moved to October, so COVID permitting. That's a completely different season. So we'll have to rethink, obviously, the overall look and colours will stay the same, but we'll have to rethink all the foliage and all the flowers. And what I'll probably do is make a bridal bouquet sample so that it's kind of signed off, and bride knows. With weddings, like larger weddings, I tend to have a sample. And we can always add it in if people really want to see things beforehand, and then to just tick it off. And a market visit's quite good to just check, you know, there might be certain things that you see in real life that you think, oh my god, I hate that, I don't want that. It's really good to know what you don't want as well as what you do want.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, it's looking absolutely gorgeous. Really, really nice.
More bits.
I think we're there, are we? Looks pretty beautiful.
Yeah. That's the problem with being impressed. Oh, I'm not finished.
Well, I was impressed at 4 in.
I'll just put a couple more bits in. It's like never wanting to stop. Okay. Just a couple more.
So just scroll through and see if we have any questions.
Yeah.
So we've got one obviously about preserving flowers. I think we've touched on that one. And yeah, just really about flower trends as well. And, you know, obviously dried flowers have been really important. We've touched on that, will continue. There was a huge pampas grass trend as well. How you know, have you been asked for a lot of pampas going forward? Do you feel it's still important?
Yeah, I still like pampas grass. I used a couple of stems in the dry flower cloud that we did for the bride, the Brown's bride boutique. And I quite like just using it a bit more sparingly. Like I like to have lots of different textures because it's actually quite hard to get hold of.
Sure.
I'm not saying it, but I've used a dyed one that was slightly darker, like very natural looking, and that was also beautiful as well. So I think dried flowers are here to stay for sure, but it's also quite nice to mix in fresh with dried as well, like a few fresh roses, and
that's nice.
I've done a few combinations like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I love using different foliages, like English foliage. I just love using loads of different textures. So
I love eucalyptus the most.
Yeah, I'm actually allergic to it, but
are you actually?
Yeah, I'm allergic to eucalyptus, but I've persevere.
What happens?
My hands go a bit red. It's not the most attractive sight, but yeah.
So how are we looking? It looks absolutely stunning. Wow. You're gonna hold it up. Oh, look at that. I mean, that is really an artist at work. You make it look so easy.
So yeah, so I feel like people, you just kind of need maybe like, I like to use odd amounts of things, so 3s, 5s, 8s, because I don't like things to look like a square. So I kind of I think if you've got like 4 or 5 materials, or even if you were able to like dry some flowers from your garden, hang them up for a few days, wait for them to dry, you could kind of recreate something similar at home, or use some of the wholesalers that I've mentioned.
Or maybe give you a call.
I'll give you a call. Yeah,
as well.
Or if you've got any hydrangeas you want me to dry, I'm
lovely.
Take delivery.
Yeah, that's a nice idea. Oh, gorgeous. Oh, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It's the amaranth, I think, that really sets it off. It gives it a little bit more dimension, doesn't it? I'm really into
so different. And you can't really, it just does what it does. So you just have to kind of go with it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love it. I love it. And I can see why that dried flower trend will just keep on giving, because no two are the same, you know? It's absolutely beautiful. What else do you feel will be popular for 21, 22? Is there anything that you've been working on quite a lot that feels quite fresh? You know, that kind of more wild look is obviously your look, but, you know, is there anything that you feel's evolved?
I feel like still bringing the outdoors in is like a massive trend. I've got a wedding actually, fingers crossed, this year, and it's really making it feel like a country garden inside. So you're kind of indoor outdoor. I mean, I love that vibe.
Gorgeous.
Excited to hopefully still work on that together. Yeah, I think it's just really seasonal flowers, really fresh. Yeah, I'm not very trend led. I kind of I'm quite intuitive with what I like to use, and normally you just get a really great fit with a bride, and they see your portfolio of work on the website, which I've just recently revamped, and you can kind of see quite quickly if you're like a fit for each other. But yeah.
I think that's so important. You're right. The whole kind of foliage indoors thing does feel quite fresh, though, doesn't it? It feels like, you know, just all of that greenery, even just on its own without the florals, is just quite special. Yeah, I love that idea. I think that's really nice, and it does feel quite original right now. You know,
and you can have lots of candles and a bit of metal work with like foliage through it.
Yeah,
and you can make things look really effective.
Yeah, oh, it sounds gorgeous. And then obviously we talked about you know, keeping your preservation for your flowers, but in terms of disposal after the event, you've got all of these amazing, incredible flowers that, you know, maybe decorating the venue, the outdoors, the indoors. What would you suggest couples do with that afterwards to be sustainable?
So what I tend to do, and I always offer this when I'm talking to brides and grooms, is I like to donate a lot of the flowers to floral angels, who then repurpose all the flowers and foliage and give it to sort of events or charities that can't quite afford to have the flowers, and it gets really nicely evenly distributed, and they kind of have another life. I also always encourage, you know, they pay for the flowers and foliage or plants, like repurpose them, replant them, gift them to your guests. We'll actually talk about with the centerpieces, are they going to be re-gifted, because I'll make them in a certain way if they are. So yeah, definitely like to give things another life after just the wedding day, because it feels like such a shame, because I can't have everything in my house. I wish I could, but
no, that's it. And obviously
I don't want to. I'd rather it be shared.
Yeah, and obviously for the venues, they I'm sure would love to keep them, but they might have another wedding or another event, and these things have to be moved along. So to know that you've got those contacts or suggestions and you ask those questions, actually, you know, is something that's quite important to a lot of people, to know that there's options, even if they don't know. You can maybe impart that information, but like I say, you can gift it to family and friends, and of course, you know, who wouldn't want that? But some of these things are quite large, so repurposed for charities, that's great. Really good, really good, fantastic. So lots and lots of information to be thinking about. I guess we should just check if there's any final questions from anybody, but I'm so glad that you joined us today.
Oh, thank you. It's been great.
I've got lots of compliments on your beautiful arrangement. Thank you so much.
Perfect. No, thank you, Caroline. It's been great to talk to you.
Yeah, likewise. I hope you have the rest of a great week, and we get the sunshine every day. Hopefully no rain.
Fingers crossed.
Take care. Thanks so much, Charlotte.
Bye, everyone.
See you again soon. Bye.